And good afternoon. Happy Aloha Friday. Happy Good Friday. It's Devin here with you for Manoa Valley Theater Live. And we back. We doing it. I think it's our 52nd show. You know who would know for sure is Kip Wilborn.
It is indeed our 52nd show. You are correct.
How you doing, sir? Thank you very much.
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to see you back, man.
Yeah, happy Aloha Friday to everyone, and a blessed and peaceful weekend for those who are observing Easter. And
Yes.
we're just really, really happy that you're joining us today. And hey, it's been a good day. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. The weather's been really nice. I wanted to tell. I was sad I didn't get to tell you last week how great Popcorn Falls was. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good show.
Thank you.
Those two guys, my gosh, that is so many characters. I can't even.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, if you missed it, too bad. It's gone.
But don't worry, we got another show coming up.
We have another one coming up. So let me just jump on that. So next we have Tiny Beautiful Things running from May 6th through the 23rd. There's tickets available online either or by phone. You can go to manoavalleytheater.com or 808-961-6163. No. 808-988-6131. I don't call that number.
It's been a little while since he's been here. It's okay.
I know. Well, okay, we're all messed up because we've moved to 5 o'clock.
Right.
So now it's the Pauhana show. So,
yes.
Come on.
Kip is waiting for his drink. He's like, let's go, man. Well,
so,
Kip.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant to ask you, are we going to be broadcasting this one as well?
No.
Okay.
It's the rights for streaming are not available for this one.
Okay.
Wish there were, but they're not.
I know.
So next
cast is going to be good.
Next up is the Putnam County 25th Annual Spelling Bee, and it runs from June 17th to the 27th at Kaimuki High School. So we'll be in a larger venue for that. And the Spelling Bee auditions are Saturday and Sunday, April 17 and 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after that one, Daddy Longlegs, which is a great musical, wonderful musical, July 1st to 11th. Auditions are Saturday, April 24th. So, mark your calendar there and come out for the auditions, and we look forward to seeing you. And we have another thing on our tab, stage makeup classes with Lisa Ponce de Leon. And those are on Monday evenings all through April. So you can go online to our website, and you can get more information there and sign up. And I hope you'll take advantage of it. It's the first of many of those that I believe we're going to produce.
She's a multi-award-winning artist for makeup too, so it'd be really good to talk to her. And it might be interesting to have her on the show.
Imagine that. Yeah, so tune in next week. Yeah,
sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Kip. Appreciate that. We're gonna bring you back in just a little bit. So
all right,
just hang tight. Thank you, sir. All right, let's get to it. Our first guest this afternoon is prolific in the theater community here on Oahu. He is currently a PhD candidate at the University of Hawaii at Manoa and manages their simulated patient program. He's directed numerous theatrical productions, both with us at MVT and with other theaters around town. Some of his credits include Equus, The Elephant Man, I always say it wrong, Eurydice, and recently A Christmas Carol, a live radio play. Hey, we did that at MVT. He played Peter in MVT's production of Peter and the Starcatcher. Viewers, please welcome the talented Alex Monroe.
Hey, Devin, how's it going?
Hey, Alex. Hey, first things first, dude, I always say that name wrong.
Eurydice?
Eurydice. See, thank you. I should have just
you were close.
I should have just asked you in the first place. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. So tell me how you got started in theater. What was the thing that gave you the theater bug?
Actually, I got started in theater kind of late. I didn't really get into it until undergrad. I went to a small college, had a small theater program, and I had this amazing mentor who's actually retiring at the end of this year, which is very bittersweet. But she took me under her wing. She gave me a really solid foundation, never let me settle, always pushed me to be better and better. to embrace criticism and feedback and just to keep growing. And I think she is why I was able to come out here to Hawaii to get my master's, to continue with a PhD, to do things with MVT. So I kind of owe it to her.
Oh, nice. Now, you've done, of course, you've done every single bit of theater there is. Do you prefer
Feels like
directing or acting? Or I know, do you prefer directing, acting? What kind of what do you like the most?
I think I'm more comfortable with the directing side of things now. I really love being able to work with and collaborate with everybody on the team, right? Getting to have those conversations with the designers, with the producers, with the actors, and just getting to share in their talent, right? Because we have such an amazing, talented community that we get to work with all our productions.
Nice. Now, speaking of directing, you are currently directing Where Words Once Were over at HPU. I understand the production incorporates both recorded and live action for the live stream. So can you tell us how that came to be?
Yeah. So let me start by saying that the play takes place in the city, and the city has limited language to 1,000 words. So anytime they need to add a word, they have to take one away to maintain that balance. So even throughout the play, we're watching words get erased and written over. And the play follows a young boy named Orhan, played by the next guest, Lily Noy. And Orhan meets someone who has been punished by the city for speaking words that are no longer part of the language. This person has been erased. Which means that you sort of forget that they exist. They've been erased from your consciousness. People pass you by on the street and they're not aware of you. And Orhan meets this girl who's been silenced and finds himself in a fight to restore language. And we were supposed to present this play last year, but of course COVID postponed us for a year. And even then, we were really taken by this idea of things being erased and written over. And so it was part of our design all the way through, from our poster to our programs to the costumes and the set. And when we came back, a year later, and we knew that we were going to live stream the show, I wanted to think, how could we incorporate that aesthetic into the way we're telling the story? What could we erase and what could we write over? And I thought about what makes theater, right? It's spectators, it's the audience, and it's the performers sharing time and space with one another. And with a live stream, we've erased sharing space. I can't do anything about that. I can't teleport an audience into the theater. I can't teleport the actors into their house. But we're still sharing time, and I can write over that a little bit. I can play with that. So in the early scenes of the play, when Orhan doesn't have the full expression of language, hasn't quite met the girl, doesn't quite see her, those scenes are pre-recorded. We've erased liveness. We've written it over with the language of cinema, with things that have been pre-recorded and edited. And anytime girl comes in and she's live and she has the full expression of language, then we're cutting to a live performance. And once Orhan kind of gets a little bit more aware of the girl and starts to interact with her, then we shift to a completely live production.
Wow. Okay, wait. So you worked that all out in your head and you said, okay, we're going to do this and then we're going to do this. And then I can't imagine. Yeah. I mean, did that come to you fully formed, or did you say, okay, did you read the play and it immediately spoke to you that way, or?
So the idea of things being erased and written over, that, like I said, that was a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's grown through talking with the design team and talking with some other folks and just trying to bounce that idea off and see, like, how does it land? Is it too much of like my PhD candidate brain, or is it something that could actually be a viable, fun thing to watch? But the design team was really on board, and it forced us we had to be quick, right? We had to have the set early, about a month beforehand, because we filmed those scenes last week, right? We had to have all the costumes ready. We had to have the actors had to be off book and ready to go, because once we filmed it, then that was it. And then for continuity's sake, we couldn't add to the set. We can't change the costumes, right? All that is done. And it led to sort of a strange feeling, because we spent all last week filming, and then we came back this past Monday to rehearse the live scenes, and it was sort of like, oh yeah, we have half a play we still need to get down and work through and make sure it's really crisp and clean for the performance. So it's sort of shaken us up a little bit out of our routines, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with that, as long as I'm not the one who has to remember all the words. All right. Hey, Alex, we're going to bring you back in just a second, but I
Sounds good.
want to introduce Lilinoy, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Joining us in our conversation, our second guest is a cast member in Where Words Once Were at HPU. She's an aspiring actor, a member of the National Thespian Society, and a senior at St. Andrew's School, The Priory. She's been involved in a variety of Hawaii Opera theater shows, including Carmen and Tosca, as well as in multiple St. Andrew's School productions. Please welcome Lilinoy Field Perkins. Hello, Lilinoy.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. Okay, so give us the background, Lilinoy. How did you get involved with theater? Because you've been doing a lot of it, man.
Thank you. I've been doing theater for a little while. I know when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor, like really, really intensely, and because I wanted to be on PBS Kids. That was my like big dream, right? And so I took like little like acting classes for a little while, and then I through elementary school wasn't really doing anything, and then in middle school, the first real production that I was like involved in was Hawaii Opera Theater's Midsummer Night's Dream, where I was playing a fairy in the ensemble, in the ensemble chorus, because I got into it via a choir that I was involved in. Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
So-
okay. Wow, that's kind of cool. Okay, so how did you get involved with this show?
So my teacher at my past teacher at St. Andrew's Schools, Lanoli Caballo, she was working on the show as well, and so she introduced her students to the idea of auditioning to this for the show. And I went out for it, and I was like, I don't know if it's just for fun. There's no way, this is like a show done by a college. There's no way that that's gonna work. And then I got the lead role, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. And I still think it's crazy. So
That's cool. So, just out of curiosity, have you been doing training at St. Andrew's Primary? Have you been taking some acting classes and stuff like that?
So we I most of my like training has been just through doing productions there. We didn't we don't have a theater class at
That's a good way to do it, man.
yeah, I think so.
Just in the fire, sitting on stage, right?
Yeah, and so I got to do a lot of productions there, which was really, really good for me. To like learn my range of like the characters that I can play, and this show I think is very different for me in a really beautiful way from a lot
very
of the
cool.
shows I was doing.
Speaking of the show, apparently we have a little video clip that we get to show everyone. So if we could bring that up right now, that'd be awesome.
Here, help me. What does it mean? It means hurry and remove it before the officials come. It is our law. They will say we did write it. What? Don't even be funny, Orhan. Of course not. What does that mean? It is an erased word. It means to wish something had never been.
Okay, very cool. So obviously those are some of the recorded scenes that you had to do for the show. Was it helpful for both of you in the sense that you didn't have to worry about, because if you're doing the show on stage, unless you're doing it in a round, you have to worry about where the audience is sitting. As you did this, was it more helpful for both of you? Because, you noticed you can kind of be everywhere, right? The camera can be wherever you want to place it. So did that free you a little bit?
I think yes, in a way, yes, it was really freeing because of that, like not having to worry about always cheating out, towards the audience and something, stuff like that. But I think it was also nerve-wracking too because the camera's so there, in your face, and worrying about my own the amount of like movement that I have and the way that I'm like using the space around me was that was something that was out of my comfort zone, very 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 cool to do. So yeah.
Alex, was there a lot of change when you set it up? Did you have the camera angles kind of in your mind's eye already of what you were going to do?
Kind of. We knew we wanted a lot of movement because when we do the live stream, we're going to just have to have the cameras on. Tripods are going to be in the house. We can't, we're thinking about maybe trying to do a little bit of panning or tilting, but we're not going to be able to have the level of movement that we had for the pre-recorded stuff. So we actually rented a gimbal. We had someone who was familiar with that equipment and was able to and we have some fun little camera movements. So you saw where kind of follow Lily Noy.
Yeah,
and then caught
it's
it as
really
Emily,
cool, man.
Yeah, it came in. We have one, the scene that kind of closed it. That's actually what's going to happen is the camera's going to go through. It's going to go out the window, come back out, and then we're going to transition into a title scene. So I had to think cinematically, and I also had to think theatrically. And it was really fun watching the actors sort of fight their acting theatrical instincts because they always wanted to cheat out and they always wanted to make sure that, and they were like, this doesn't feel right. And I'm like, trust me, it's going to look good on camera. That's what we have to sort of focus on right now. So
yeah, Lily, no, it sounds like that struggle was real, man.
Very real, yeah. It was super amazing. It's very weird though.
And so now that you're getting into the live portion of it, what has it been like for? Because now you do have to cheat, right? You have to cheat out because there's cameras, but you're having to cheat out to an audience. So how has that been?
I think with the cheating out thing, it's a little bit different because you're still trying to cheat out to the right camera that like will be, showing
see?
multiple that are going to be streaming, so we can see all these like different angles. And so like being aware while you're in the scene of like, okay, which camera is going to be seeing me right now and stuff like that. But yeah, and also just that transition from pre-recorded to live, like you're going from this mindset of like being in the pre-recorded stuff and fully acting, and then you're suddenly going into this live scene, not having done like the previous sentence, and then it's like very cool.
Yeah, kind of explain if you guys can walk me through that a little bit, because Alex, you were mentioning it a little bit. I mean, there's live stuff interspersed with the recording, so I mean, are you talking about mid-sentence or mid lines? Things happen and you go into recordings. Is that how that works? I mean, I don't want you to give everything away because we want to make sure people see the show.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes, yeah, it's we're playing a little bit with trying to do a little bit of some magic with cutting between what's pre-recorded and what's live. Maybe some things appear or disappear that were in one and not the other. But yeah, I think it's one of the things that we've been talking a lot about, which is that, for example, all of scene 3 is pre-recorded, and then we pick up, and then of course when we start scene 4, the actors have to remember where they were when they recorded scene 3 a month ago. So one of the things that we're going to do once we move into tech rehearsals next week is we'll actually record our streams of the rehearsal. That way we can share it with the actors. They can kind of see how things are going. So again, it's completely new, different process than when we're just doing everything in person.
Wow. Okay, this is blowing my mind a little bit. I give you credit, Lily Noy, because for me, when I'm learning my lines or blocking and stuff, right? It's all about kinetics. So I like to be there on stage, right? You go, okay, I go here and then I turn and then I say my line, or I pick up this thing and then I go, right? And this is not that. I mean, there's a little bit of it when you do the live, right? But kind of not.
Yeah.
So what's happened like?
Breaks it up. It completely like this. Like coming in, like there's a scene where like when we switch completely to live, where my character's discovering something, and so that like remembering, my mindset from the last scene,
right?
Exactly, I was, right before it cuts off, and being there, again with in terms of like facial expression and energy and everything like that. It's super different, but I'm so grateful to be able to like have this experience. It's very unique, and so I'm really
I
happy
should
about
say. Well, and on the plus side, you'll never mess up your lines in those recorded scenes.
True.
So those parts you're set. You don't have to worry about. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there something? Okay, can you each give me something that you're looking forward to the audience discovering when they see this show? Alex, I'll start with you.
I think, well, one of the things I think we should emphasize about this play is that it's a family-friendly play. The playwright is Finnegan Kruckmeyer, he's an internationally known playwright for theater for young audiences. HTY has done, I think, at least 3 of his productions or of his plays in the past couple of years. And so his plays they always invite imagination, right? They always invite the audience to supply their imagination, to approach the show for theater being everything that it can possibly be, right? And so I hope that the audience discovers magic in this play. I hope that they can enjoy it on a number of different levels, right? There's this sort of dystopian aspect with the city and this punishments and all that kind of stuff. There's also, though, like, as you saw, we have projections. There, we have a lot of word games. And I hope that it just kind of brings families together and they can sort of celebrate theater for what theater can be.
Nice. All right, Lilinoy, your turn.
Yeah, on that same note, I think like one thing that's so beautiful about this play is it's like a celebration of words and a celebration of language, and that idea of like we can only see how lucky we are and how beautiful language is when it's taken away. And so I think like the incredible way that the show demonstrates that, I hope that the audience discovers, their love of language.
Very cool. Okay, and I'm so excited to talk about the play and the work that you two are doing. I completely glossed over the part about how they go see the show. So can we get into that a little bit?
Sure. So the play is going to be completely live streamed. We're not going to have an audience in the house. It's also pay what you can. So you can see it for free, or if you're able to, donations are always welcome. But all you have to do is just go to that link, hpu.edu/theater with an RE, and there's just a little form you have to fill that you just register, and you'll get a link to the Vimeo live stream. And then on the poster there are the dates and times for the show.
Awesome. Yeah. So a question. Thank you very much. People, please go see the show. I had another question procedurally. When you do a show of this type, do you just perform the live pieces to get that tight, or do you now have to do it all in one crack? Like you were saying, scene 3 is completely recorded, but scene 4 is live. So do you then, as you get closer, right? Do you continue to do, okay, well, we know that's recorded and that's in the can. All right, we're just gonna rehearse this part. And at what point do you start to sort of throw everything together? Because then, Lilinoy, you're just sort of standing on stage and you're watching yourself on stage, right, for about 5-10 minutes, and you go, okay, now we do the thing, which is what's going to happen in real life. But I'm sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So right now we're still editing and putting the pre-recorded materials together. So like the clip you saw is still sort of in an unfinished form. We still need to add some sound effects and all that kind of good stuff. And so this past week we just picked back up with the live scenes. We sort of ran through all the live scenes consecutively last night for our design team. And then starting Thursday, we will do exactly as you said. We're going to actually run through the pre-recorded materials and the live materials in one go. We have to learn, how do we cue the actors, right? How much time do they really have to readjust during scene 3 to get ready for scene 4? I kind of wish we could slip like a little webcam and people could watch like a backstage version of like everyone running around getting in place and us cueing as it goes on. So.
Okay. How many people are in the cast for this show, by the way?
Just 5.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Small
I know
cast.
It's so interesting to see all the shows now. Everybody's just shrunk their shows down. You got a 2-man show, you got a 3-man show, 5-man show is. That's actually quite a large cast.
Enough right now.
Right?
Yeah. And several of the actors double characters as well, which is really fun. And it's cool to see, again, going to that layering idea, layering their costumes, layering their performances even.
And Lily, question: where did you come up with your character? Did it just speak to you on the page, or did you and Alex have to take some time sort of figuring it out?
I think it was a very interesting process for me because I had never played a character like Orhan before. Because I think for a while, because I was doing a lot more of comedic, like musical-esque shows at my school because it was for the entire school and it was like supposed to be a very fun thing. And one thing that I love about doing this show is that there are darker themes, under the fact that like it is for families, but there's that like, serious ideas. But yeah, I think like playing a character who is a lot of his characters about observation, and like being extremely like observant and a little bit more introverted than the other characters that I've played in the past has been a really beautiful experience. And I think he did speak to me a little bit. I think he reminded me of just like people in my life, but also myself to an extent of like that idea of curiosity, and wars going on in your own head and everything that like, the pressure.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking you're going to stick with this acting thing for a little bit. Yeah.
I think so.
Would you say it's bitten you and now you're going to be doing more plays?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely.
All right. That sounds like a great thing. Alex, Lily, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We really appreciate it. Best of luck with the show. It's going to be awesome. Once again, if we could bring up that slide so that people, because they're fascinated now, going, how do I watch this thing? It's called Where Words Once Were. And see, I was having a hard time trying to figure out. I'm like, okay, I got to get the name right. Where Words Once Were. And it's going to be at hpu.edu/theater. Those are the dates. Those are the times. Please go check it out and give to HPU if you can. I'm going to bring out the man of the hour, Mr. Kip Wilborn, for our closing stuff.
Thank you, guys. That was really great. I really enjoyed that. And I can't wait to see the show. I'm really looking forward to it. And I want to encourage everyone to come out, come back to the theater. Today in New York City, the venues, the live venues were allowed to open with 33% capacity.
Oh, wow.
And the president of the Broadway League said that they're anticipating a unrestricted opening on Broadway in September.
Awesome.
How about that? Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could have an unrestricted opening in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. I'd love that.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Since our COVID numbers are better than anybody else, I'm just saying.
We've got a little fight going on right now. So everybody take care. No raves, no crazy parties with no mask. Keep distancing, keep wearing the mask, and we'll get out of this thing.
Very much so. We hope so. Once again, Alex, Lily, thank you so much for being here. Good luck to you and the show. We can't wait to see it. It sounds like it's going to be really fascinating. I'm going to be sitting there the whole time going, okay, this part is recorded and now she's doing live. How is she piecing those two things together? How does she know to carry the emotion from this scene into this scene?
Yes.
It'll be good. I can give them all the background information from Alex and you, so I feel good. Once again, everyone, if you get a chance, please give to Manoa Valley Theater. All the information down right here, and please come see a show. They're doing some great work. All of the theaters doing really great work here, and all we're hoping is that it's at some point in time it's going to open just a wee bit more, so we get more of you in. All right. Till then, next week we have Lisa Ponce de Leon joining us to talk about makeup. I may need some help with that one, so that might be a good one. I don't know. You guys all look good, so you're fine. On behalf of Alex and Lillinois and Mr. Kip, and also all of our people working behind the scenes to make this happen, thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you for number 53 of Manoa Valley Theater Live next week. Aloha.
Aloha.